Do I regret buying 10 Shu Todorokis with flames? No, absolutely not. When it comes to canceled cars like Shu himself here, you can never have too many because once the value exponentially increases over time, you'll be able to use these for various purposes and of course, appreciate your own collection. Now, of course, me, myself, and I, we're not in it solely for the money. I love my cars. I rarely sell or trade at all, but having these definitely allows me to trade for other canceled cars that I don't have. And that's exactly why I bought 10. Of course, 3 of them are for my friend who got banned from the eBay seller. Don't know exactly how that happened, but I'm a nice guy and bought 3 for him, leaving 7 for myself to, trade, and until that happens, keep them in my own collection. So that's the point of this video. I want to inform you guys about canceled cars a little bit. I will do a video on all the canceled cars in the future, but in this video, we're going to focus a little bit more on Shu with Flames, and of course, review him, give him a solid spotlight. So let me ask you guys something. Go on eBay right now, or Amazon, whichever is your favorite, and type in Disney Cars Benny Caliper. Any results? Please let me know if you find any results because I would gladly buy them or bid on them. But 10 bucks says that you didn't find any results. Say maybe that's a coincidence? Okay, try one of my latest reviews on uncancelled Pity here. Type that in. Any results? Didn't think so. Now, Shu with Flames here will come up. There is a link to buy him from an eBay seller, Toy Force 2013. I'm not endorsing him or anything. I'm just saying that he has it available for 30 bucks. They were $15 when I originally bought them, but of course, since I did buy 10 along with a lot of other people, he was like, oh my goodness, I need to raise the price on this. But by no means am I saying that Toy Force is a necessarily good seller. I don't want to get sidetracked too much, but he's not. He doesn't know how to count his inventory. And there are some other issues as well, but I could save that for another video or whatnot. But you can buy him. He's available right now. However, in 2-3 months, maybe even less, they'll all be gone. Guaranteed. Collectors will realize this and buy them up for the same purpose that I did, and then they'll be gone forever until that one fluke moment comes up 5 years down the road when a collector's like, yeah, I don't really want this anymore, I want to buy a new house, so I'm going to sell some of my cars. That's kind of what happened with some of my canceled cars I got, like I just showed you Benny, of course, and the uncancelled Pity. The collector I bought these from lost interest a little bit and sold them to me. So that's exactly what would happen, and that's the limit of it for these canceled cars. They are leaked through China factories. These sellers are able to somehow acquire them. I don't know what goes on, I really have no clue, but that's how collectors across the world are able to get these, along with prototypes, stuff like that. So they're extremely limited, even though it may seem like there's quite a few on eBay right now of this Shu with Flames. So before we move on, I just want to emphasize that the value of this guy will increase. Here's his prototype picture. He was supposed to be released in early 2017, perhaps in the All in All Blowout series, or maybe just a World Grand Prix series. And it's extremely likely since Miguel Camino with Flames was also canceled that year. I was able to get a couple of him as well, although I paid a lot more for Miguel than I did for Shu because I didn't have the knowledge I do now. In 2014, they did have the All in All Blowout series that included 2 similar racers, Carlo Veloso with Flames, and Nigel Gearsley with the Flames as well. So only natural for them to release 2 more of the racers that got shot with that camera and therefore had some fiery, bottle movements or whatever. I don't know what happened exactly, but their engines blew out, causing some flames to pop out the back or sides. Pretty similar to Carlo Veloso with Flames if you actually take a look at it there. But let's move on now to the review of Shu with Flames after my entire talk just now about why cancel cards are so significant and why you should definitely consider buying them. I'm not forcing you to do anything, I'm just educating you because it does make me cringe a little bit to see 5 sit there for $30 when I know some collectors would love to have them, but they just don't know. So anyway, as I'm transitioning here, by the way, that is the stand I use. It's just a Disney store car. I've been using this forever. Mater is not my slave. He's just a helper. I don't pay him, but yeah, he's not a slave or anything. Anyway, bringing over Shu Todoroki's with Flames. I do have a couple different versions. We have the surprised, a shocked version, and the normal expression that Shu would have. You know, the determined expression. So this is kind of weird that there's a variant amongst the leaked ones from China. Doesn't make much sense to me. I've never seen this happen before, but it's definitely possible. I have 2 here with the determined expression, and then the other 8 are the kind of weird, I don't know, just shocked expression, as I will refer to it as. I definitely prefer that since it relates to the scene, whereas this one is just kind of like the normal Shu and doesn't match his back half being like blown up. So kind of strange there, but you know, we all know how many variations Mattel likes to make, so I wouldn't be surprised if they were going to have one with Shu as well. But taking a look at just the, let's go with this one because this one's a little damaged. I know he says new condition, but they're never really new condition. So I try to get some money back every time that he sends me one in used condition because he's just falsely labeling his items. And that's when the problems come in. Now I know I bought a lot from him, gave him a lot of business, and that's only because he had the demand, or the supply, I guess. He had both, but not the customer service or quality, I guess you could say. But anyway, just like all the other shoes, we'll compare him to the regular one right here. He has the Japanese characters with the red dot from the flag and 7 because that's his number. The models are different along with the eyes, of course. You have here these side view mirrors that pop up, although they aren't really have any, or they don't really have any of the glass behind it. They're just painted white. Of course, World Grand Prix number 7, all in all, powered by All in All. That's the fuel that they used, even though it was all orchestrated to make them blow up. That's actually the only reason why Shu has flames is because of All in All. And he actually had this happen to him in Italy at the Porta Corsa race, so I'll put a picture on the screen there. Kind of a sad moment, in my opinion, actually the saddest moment from the movie, because since Shu had this issue, it caused all the racers behind them, which were 9 out of the 11, to also crash. Actually, only 7 crashed. Jeff and Lewis were able to stop beforehand, but the only reason they made them stop is because they actually had voice actors and they didn't want the audience seeing like Jeff Gordon and Lewis Hamilton's counterparts being like smashed into by other cars. Anyway, you have the red dot here along with the Japanese characters again. They are the same exact ones. I like his rims, kind of like a wire silver rim type of deal there. He has some exhaust coming out here, which is a separate plastic piece. And then you have the red kind of flaming dragon design going throughout his body, which is really sweet. I love it. And it's definitely more highly concentrated here on his right side. He has World Grand Prix on his double tier spoiler. Green, blue, green. And of course, the part that we all came to this video for, the flames. So pretty sweet, right? At the end, they're a little bit darker. And at the start, they're all orange. Just makes sense because, you know, it's hotter toward the middle there, whereas at the end the flames kind of phase out a little bit because presumably, you know, whatever the problem was, it was toward the back here. Now the flame piece does seem a little loose, which is a little alarming, but I don't think it would come off unless you really tug at it. So don't tug at it if you get one. You can see that their backs are pretty much identical with the exception of the flames, obviously, you know, between the taillights and the silver details. Of course, like I already mentioned, the only differences between these two are the expression, and the flames. This was going to be the first variant of Shu that appeared in the movies. You know, all of his other variations were from the Transcontinental Race of Champions series, like Silver Shu or Carbon Racer Shu, none of which actually appeared in Cars 2. Of course, you have Carnival Shu, and this is what I'm talking about, the T-Rock Transcontinental Race of Champions. Pretty cool stuff to fill the void between Cars 2 and Cars 3. And just one little comparison here between the Determined Shu with Flames, who actually has, the same mouth, which is another interesting thing because the Determined Shu that we're used to has a different mouth where he's kind of like frown smirking, as I like to call it, but the eyes are the same. So pretty interesting stuff there. I don't know how all this stuff got mixed up, but you never quite know what goes on in the Chinese factories, the Chinese Mattel factories to be specific. The flame coloring may be a little bit different on some of them, but overall they're pretty much the same. If you compare it again to Carlo Velocio's flames, hers are a lot longer and they have a lot more gradient colors. Of course, very yellowish down here, and then it gets darker, dark. Here it's probably about maybe 75% of the length of Carla's. Maybe like 2/3 actually, a little bit less. So that's pretty interesting there. I'm glad that they decided to change it up. And it's funny because ever since this guy got announced, I immediately was like, I'm going to make a custom of that guy if he doesn't get released. And I figured he probably wouldn't, since whenever they have a new movie, along with cars that they plan on releasing beforehand, there's always like, yeah, we ran out of time, can't release these. Happened for Cars 1, just before Cars 2 came out, so it was kind of predictable. I was going to make a custom using Carla's flame, so I was going to get an extra of her, ka-chank the flames off of her bumper, and attach them to a Shu Todoroki. And I'm glad that I never actually did that, because that would have been a little bit of a waste, even though it wouldn't have been that expensive to do. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below which World Grand Prix racer with flames is your favorite. We have Shu Todoroki with flames. We have Miguel Camino with flames. Carlo Veloso with flames. And Nigel Gearsley also with flames. My favorite's probably Miguel because I love his expression. Too bad he got canceled, but it just is what it is. There's always that chance that these will be uncancelled and eventually released down the line, but that doesn't always happen. I mean, you do have Percy Handbrakes and Dan Sklarkenberg, who are characters that got canceled in 2010, but released in 2016. On the other hand, you have Ben Caliper and Entuo Kola that weren't as fortunate. So it really is a little bit of a gamble, so don't get mad at me 2 years later, like in 2020, when you see this guy on the pegs, because it's not my fault. I'm just telling you that right now he was canceled. The 2017 line got snapped in half, basically. There was a whole bunch of more releases that were supposed to come out that I'll probably do a video on. There was like a gargoyle. Like, do you guys know gargoyles or whatever? That are like on the end of like big important buildings, like before you come in, I guess. They had a car version of that. It was amazing, and it was going to be released with a Mater, but we just didn't get it, sadly. So thanks again for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow for a review of Florida Ramon. See you guys then. Bye now.